First time I sang on stage was probably, I was in 6th grade. It was my first play. My first play. It was a play called Crazy Camp. I had to sing a song called I Don't Want No Real Job. The popular girl in school magically liked me all of a sudden. I had a leading role, and we began dating during the play, and then the second the play ended, she dumped me. Doesn't take a genius to figure out this equation. Got to get more leads.
I wanted to be Judy Garland when I was growing up. My mom is an enormous cinephile. I grew up with all movies of the Golden Age and musicals, the Rodgers and Hammerstein musicals. I grew up watching movies from the 70s that my mom, I mean, I must have seen them at way too young an age. I was watching like Chinatown when I was like 9.
She was my first girlfriend, and we did kiss at recess. That's what like the cool kids would do. You'd walk into the woods and kiss and come back, and everyone's like, ugh. So we did that. From what I can recall, it was a great memory all around. And I'm sure there were nerves, but it wasn't some disaster. Like I didn't shit myself or anything like that. Hey, things can go south. That doesn't always go well.
My first kiss was, well, I didn't like my first kiss, so I redid it. Yeah, it was like I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all, so I redid it. The one I liked was at a party that was like kind of boys and girls kind of kissing party. It was like a spin the bottle kind of. That one was better. Patrick Swayze was my cinematic crush.
Patrick Swayze.
I mean, obviously. He still is.
What was the first poster you had up in your room?
Probably wasn't cool. It was probably, remember those magazines, those highlights magazines you get in the dentist office?
Yeah.
Or, it was probably some magazine that I got from like some magazine club when I was like in 3rd grade or something, and not cool, like just some generic like surfer.
An expert in the room is saying something about Sandra Bullock.
I did have a very large, like one of those giant, actually I got it in New York. When my family and I were in New York one time, and you go to one of those stores in Times Square where, they got all this cheesy stuff that tourists buy. And it was just one of those giant posters of Sandy, and I had it, and it was on my ceiling. Yeah, what a loser. Not that Sandy's not cool, but that's like a loser thing to do. But I did have it on my ceiling for a long time.
Dirty Dancing was like such a formative part of my youth. I think it was Patrick Swayze and David Bowie in Labyrinth when I was like, oh, sexuality. It was like opened my eyes to like some other thing. I think Patrick Swayze and David Bowie both look great in extremely tight pants. Now, I don't attempt any Judy Garland song. I don't think I'm actually Judy Garland. One year for Christmas, my mom used to give us the Toys R Us catalog, and you could circle like 1 or 2 things that you really wanted. And so I, for some reason, wanted this tent. It was a Jurassic Park tent, and my mom bought it for me, my poor sister, because we shared a room. I erected the tent in the middle of our very small bedroom, and I lived in it for like a year. Well, I lived in it as a bedroom, but it was inside a bedroom. It was a bedroom inside a bedroom. I played in the tent, I read in the tent. I mean, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And it was so cool because at night, the light, you'd have a flashlight inside, and then the whole outside of the tent was Jurassic Park. So there were all the dinosaurs all around. It really smelled like terrible. It was probably really toxic, but it was pretty great. I would buy it again for my own child. And then after like about a year, my sister was like, this is insane. She's like, I've been walking around this tent for a year.
And what was your very first date?
I went to go see, remember Blank Check? My mom picked me up with my girlfriend, and that first girlfriend when I was in 7th grade. We went to go see Blank Check.
Did you pay, buy popcorn?
I don't know if that, yeah, I must have. I mean, obviously it wasn't my money, but I think I must have. I think I was probably instructed to do so. And my mom gave me the 20.
What was your first karaoke song?
I think I sang that Grease song, You're the One That I Want, with my first real girlfriend. The first girlfriend you have when you actually, argue the way that adults argue. I was in 7th grade. She was a freshman, again from a play. We were in Anne of Green Gables. She was Anne, I was Gilbert. I went on a cruise with her and her family, and we sang that Grease song together. We brought down the house.
My favorite karaoke songs I like Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. I like New York State of Mind by Billy Joel. Maybe I'll do like a song from Queen if I'm feeling particularly feisty. I like Bohemian Rhapsody. Are you kidding? I was a kid actor. I'm all the parts. Beauty and the Beast was popular when I was a kid. We would do the opening scene where Belle walks and sings a song about, you know, this provincial town. My sister was always Belle, and I played the entire town, obviously. I was like, I don't want to be Belle. I want to be the baker. I want to be the candlestick maker. I want to be those three like girls that like Gaston. I want to be Gaston. Yeah. I want to be LeFou. I love them all.
There's varying weights of the shield, so it's not always the heavy one, all the way to the point of it being full of CGI. Sometimes, you know, you're swinging it and flinging it around and, you know, you got nothing in your hand, so I can't take full credit for that. Okay, you're right, I will. Oh, what can I say? I'm just amazing at it. You know, it's such a silly thing. When I was a kid, I did Taekwondo, like every kid, and at the end of our classes, the instructor would take their belt off and we'd have a jumping contest, and I could always just jump real high. It's more of a party trick now, whether people want to see it or not. I'm just like, let's start jumping over stuff. But I tell you what, in the cap suit, you talk a big game. Okay, if you need me to, if I got to jump over that, I can do it, you know. But then you're in the full cap suit and you can't. Yeah, I've actually looked kind of more stupid with the confidence that I thought I had from jumping.
When I was probably 9. I worked on a film called Just Cause, and Lawrence Fishburne was in it. We were traveling somewhere for the film. We were all on a plane, and I passed him in the aisle, and he said to me, "Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you want to be an actor, or do you want to be a movie star?" And you know, in my mind, I didn't really know. I didn't know what he meant exactly. I felt like, you know, you can be both, right? I mean, you can be both. What he was saying to me is like, are you here to do the work? And, you know, I internalized that. If your end goal is just to be a movie star, well, you know, that's different than acting.
Remember, when I was my junior, the summer of my junior, going into senior year, I knew I wanted to act, but I didn't have any contacts in the city, so I wrote a bunch of letters to casting directors trying to get a job, and I got an internship at a casting office. You know, I was taking the subway and, you know, just feeling like a grown-up. I got to speak every day to agents, setting up actors. That's how I got my agent. You know, being friendly with 2 or 3 of them, and just said, hey, listen, you know I'm just Chris in Bonnie's office, but can I come and audition for you? And they let me, and they signed me. And then I got a pilot, yeah. I stayed at a dump. It was student housing. It was, you know, I had one room and a bathroom down the hall, and I'd been there for like a month and a half. And I came in one day, and there was another kid there, and he was like, hello, and I was like, who are you? I forget his name, but he was, you know, from another country. It was just, I went to the front desk, I was like, there's somebody in my, and they said, yeah, when you sign the thing, we have the right to do this. It's like, man. But he only wanted to watch Friends, which is fine, I liked Friends too.
What a relief.
Yeah, it was actually.
What if he had wanted to watch something you hated?
Yeah, true.
What was your first email address?
It was Zeppelin. It was from high school. And I had it up until a couple of years ago. Just Zeppelin at AOL. I do still have it, yeah. I use it for like weird, you know, like old things that I did back then. You know what I mean? Like random, like accounts with like ESPN Sports or something like from a long time ago. Yeah. What was my porno name?
What's your first pet's name?
And my first pet was a guinea pig named Gemini.
What street you lived on?
Gemini Flanagan.
Gemini Flanagan.
Flanagan. Look the fuck out. Gemini Flanagan. That is a great name. God damn. He's probably good at a lot of things, Len. He's cleaning up at those awards.
Is this a porn name? My first pet's name was Tapioca. The first street I grew up on, I was on 86th Street. 86 Tapioca? Tapioca 86 sounds like that. Tapioca 86? Is that like a character from League of Their Own? That's what it sounds like. Hey, Tapioca! And the number's 86. That's weird.
Chris Evans never thought of it before.
What? Chris Evans never thought of his porn name? I don't believe that. He way thought of that before. Definitely. With all the free time he has to think about crap, it's crossed his mind. Believe me, I sit next to him in a makeup chair. I know what else crosses his mind.
I think you should do a musical together.
What musical is this going to be? Dirty Dancing the musical?
Dirty Dancing the musical.
I can only see Patrick Swayze in that part. It would be like just wrong to be anybody else. I mean, I'm sure Chris Evans could, pull it off, but
Wouldn't be the same.
I just want to be